Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, what are we drawing today? Today we're drawing actually Mualani from Genshin Impact, a game I never thought I'd end up playing, but actually ended up liking. Who knew? I actually chose this character because it kind of like reminds me of somebody I actually know in real life. Very similar personalities, and good friend of mine. And I figured, you know what? I relate to this character. It's cool. So here we are, drawing Mualani in the back. What I was going to talk about today, actually, was how my creativity, my being an artist, if you will, got me in trouble at my work once when I was working in the paint shop. Yeah, that's a fun story. So let's get right into it. So a while back, this was way back in, I think, 2017 all the way up to 2019. So for the span of 2 years, I was working in a paint shop. I got there, started working at that paint shop, and I had not been doing any of that work for at least 6 or 7 years prior. I had done trade school when I got out of high school, but then I went to college after and did a bunch of things, and then I ended up working there. It's a long story. They put me on like sanding and panels and whatever. I was like, yeah, I'm a finisher, but I can totally do everything. I know have all the theory, and I've done practical work and all that. It's not a problem. And they're like, oh, well, we'll try you out and see what you can do. And I was able to do everything they threw at me, from stripping the guns down and putting them back together and mixing the chemicals and, you know, doing everything I had to do to be a painter in an industrial production facility. And so mostly they were constructing hotel lobbies and stuff. And eventually my supervisor came up to me and asked if I could color match, and I was like, well, that was actually one of my strongest modules when I was in trade school, so yes, I can color match. In fact, you can give me mustard and I can make a color. It's not a problem. It won't last, it's gonna rot, but it will get you your color if I have to use it. So I was actually pretty damn good at it. So they gave me a test, and I passed that test with one very much intended flying colors. It was burgundy, and and so They gave me that test. I passed it. It should usually take maybe a couple hours, several hours for a newbie to match that color. It wasn't super difficult. It was burgundy. It wasn't that hard. But I did it in like 35-40 minutes. I had to familiarize myself with the pigments and the chemicals they were using in that shop. I didn't exactly have a lab to work in. I had to kind of make do with what I had at that table. So I did that. Foreman comes in. He's like, hey, how's he doing on it? He's done. Oh, cool. Wow, you're going to be our color matcher. I'm like, hey, cool. Awesome. I guess I got promoted within the first week. All right, that's amazing. So that was fun. But this is not how I got in trouble. No. So as the color matcher, your job is to match colors. It's to make samples for the sample department to sell to the client, who then goes, yes, I want my hotel lobby to, or my business lobby or company lobby to look like that. And that's what I did. They would come in, the designers and I would work together. I don't like working with designers, but hey, you know, that's another story for another time. We'd work together, match the samples, give them to the clients, and sell the jobs. It was what it is. But just a note there, most designers, not all designers, there were some that were really cool, like my friend Phoebe. She was pretty chill. So anyway, one day we have this job comes in. It's a big hotel lobby, or building lobby for like 12 or 13 floors, something like that. I can't remember exactly. There was a lot of paneling. It was a lot of paneling. They wanted to use the veneer, an oak veneer. They unfortunately, the company that is, decided on a really cheap veneer, and to try and, I guess, save money on production and whatever. So you can imagine that obviously what you put in at the front is what you're going to get out at the back end of the production, right? You use a crap material, you're going to get a crap product. You can polish crap, but you can't change its state. I mean, you probably could if you burn it, but that's different. Anyway, so they put a bunch of these panels together. They came to the finishing department. I helped out with some of the finishing on it because you know, samples is a bit of a roller coaster of work. You have tons of work, and then you have a little bit of work, so you can help out in the paint shop a bit, and then you have a lot of work, and then a little bit of work, and you can help out a bit. So these panels come back. The client goes, I don't like the wood grain, and it doesn't look like the sample that was produced. Now, in my defense, I didn't actually produce that color. That was not my sample. This was a sample that was done before my time. The job was in production, waiting for like 2 years, and then it came back with approval, and it was my problem to fix. Well, not my problem yet. It was my supervisor's problem first. And he didn't want to touch it with a 10.5-foot pole. I can't blame him. Anyway, client doesn't like the grain on the panels because the veneer chosen doesn't match the veneer on the sample. And that's a big no-no in my books, but hey, I'm not in charge, so what do you want me to do? So these panels come in, and the boss just blatantly comes up to me and my supervisor and is like, you guys need to fix this. And like, find me a solution. And we both look at each other. We're like, well, you could just change the veneer for the right veneer. And immediately was like, we're not doing that. Okay, I guess we'll go screw ourselves. All right. Well, we're gonna find you a solution then. And my supervisor looked at me like, there's not much we can do about this. It's the wood is the wood. And this is where I didn't get in trouble at work. In fact, I almost got promoted for this, but I definitely was not the fan favorite amongst the team that had to work with me, because it wasn't my team. The paint shop team was just laughing their heads off, but the team of people that came from the cabinet making department were not super happy having to do the work with me that basically I was going to have to supervise. So I looked at the panel and I said, well, the grain doesn't match, so the only way out of this is to make the grain match. And I took a number 8 Robertson screw, gyprock screw, so those little black ones, they're dark brown gray ones. I think they're black. Charcoal, they look like charcoal. And I started scratching grain into the panel on the finish. That was already a finish, so do not scratch into the wood. That would just make things worse. Gently scratch in, reapply the glaze. The only reason this worked is because there was a glaze on the panels. Reapply the glaze, and then let it dry, clean it, then reseal it, and send it off. Did one panel like that, finished it, called in the boss, called in the client, they looked at it, client loved the panel, boss was like, cool, that's what we're doing, we're gonna do all the panels like that. How many panels are there? There's 380 something panels, and these are 4x8 panels. No, sorry, 4x10 or something. They were really big. The room was really big, so they're like really tall walls. And it couldn't just be done one panel at a time. We had to set up an entire department, one of the sections of the cabinet making department. We had to line these walls up and build the lobby of each floor, and then have scaffoldings, and we had to go in with the it was so funny. I was handing everybody their tools, and I'm handing them number 8 Robertson screws. I'm like, this is your tool, make good use of it. And they looked at me like I was insane, because I kind of am. But anyway, like, I had to show a select amount of people, I think I had like 20 guys working under me, how to scrape this in artistically while making the grain look like the sample, and everybody got a copy of the sample and had to try and match it, and it wasn't very easy to train some of those guys to do it, but we managed to get through it and do the job. So yeah, I was definitely not very popular in the good way after that. That took us several months to do, but we got the job done, and pat on my back, you know, and then I got called into the office. The boss was super happy with me, and I was like, yay, that's great. I totally roused the ire of like half of my team, making them sit there for months on end scratching grain into panels. I felt so bad. I was like, yep, so this is why sometimes coming up with a creative artistic solution to a problem isn't always the best idea. Though I don't see any other way we could have gotten out of that given the circumstances and what the requirements were to proceed with the job. So that's what it is, I guess. Oh well. Well, that pretty much sums up that story. There's not a whole lot more to go on. I got sick later, and that's another story for another time. But I ended up getting sick and having to have throat surgery, and so my voice sounds a bit weird. But that was about 5 years ago, and I haven't been able to really work in the paint shop. And yes, I do wear my safety equipment and my masks and change my filters regularly. It just what it is. I got sick, man. Chemicals and me in the dust, it just screwed me up. So, it is what it is. But yeah, that's the story for today. And today's art tip is do not try and draw wood grain with a number 8 Robertson screw. Don't do it. It's not fun. It's not a good idea. If you're ever in that situation, please try to find some other solution. I don't recommend doing that. That is pretty rough. Alright guys, well, I know that's not a digital art tip, but I guess that should save somebody who works maybe in a paint shop some anguish. If you guys enjoyed the video, you know, consider subscribing. It will really help out. Or leave a like or a comment. Up to you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao.